What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Sean O'Malley has given major props to Petr Yan after being blown away by his performance at UFC 323. While some former champions were less impressed, O'Malley made it clear that what Yan did inside the cage stood out as one of the best showings of the year. Petr Yan shocked a lot of people when he reclaimed the Bantamweight title by outworking Merab over 5 hard rounds, completely flipping the narrative from their first meeting. Back in December, Yan entered the rematch as a heavy underdog after being dominated by Merab in their initial fight. This time, however, Yan looked sharp, composed, and relentless for all 25 minutes. He stuffed takedowns, landed clean shots, and controlled key moments, eventually earning a decision that many fans labeled as one of the cleanest technical performances of the year. O'Malley, who has lost twice to Merab himself, admitted he was blown away. Speaking on the Death Row MMA podcast, he said Petr has always been one of his favorite fighters to watch. He talked about seeing Yan rise through the ranks years ago and immediately recognizing how skilled and dangerous he was. O'Malley described him as a mean, compact fighter with a scary presence, someone who has always brought intensity and precision into the cage. After rewatching the title fight, O'Malley highlighted specific moments that stood out. He pointed to Yan's elbows, the way Merab was forced to grab his arm after the first round, and the defensive wrestling display that shut down almost all of Merab's takedown attempts. According to O'Malley, Merab only officially landed 2 takedowns out of more than 20 attempts. Yan not only defended them, but also turned the tables by slamming Merab and scoring takedowns of his own, something very few fighters have been able to do. O'Malley's history with both men adds another layer to the story. He lost the Bantamweight title to Merab in 2024 and then dropped the rematch last year as well. He also fought Yan at UFC 280 in 2022, winning a controversial split decision that launched him into title contention. That history now sets the stage for a potential rematch. O'Malley is scheduled to face Song Yadong at UFC 324 later this month, and he believes a win there should lead to a massive rematch with Yan. In his view, Sean versus Petr at the White House simply makes sense. While he acknowledged that Merab may deserve another title shot based on merit, O'Malley emphasized that in terms of pure star power and excitement, a rematch with Yan on the White House card would be one of the biggest fights the UFC could possibly make. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news. Kamaru Usman has weighed in on the gruesome injury Alexandre Pantoja suffered, and he agrees with Manel Kape that it was not just bad luck, but a mistake that ultimately cost Pantoja his UFC title. The flyweight division is moving at warp speed right now, and the reaction to Pantoja's loss is a perfect example of how unforgiving the sport can be. Just over a month after Pantoja lost his belt in shocking fashion at UFC 323, the division has already shifted its focus to the next wave of contenders. The fight ended just 26 seconds in, when Pantoja suffered a serious elbow injury during an exchange with Joshua Van. What made the moment even more brutal was how sudden it was. 1 second, Pantoja was the reigning champion, and the next, his title reign was over. Despite the setback, the former champ has already been spotted back in the gym. He has been posting footage of light conditioning work and even selective sparring sessions as he works through recovery. According to early reports, no surgery was needed. The tendons were affected, but the ligaments remained intact, which is a small relief considering how bad the injury looked in real time. Pantoja is now targeting a mid to late 2026 return, with the clear goal of reclaiming what he believes is still his division. However, not everyone is buying the idea that this was simply a freak accident. Flyweight contender Manel Kape was quick to point out that the injury came from a technical error. In his view, when you fall, you roll. You do not post your arm out to brace yourself. That is basic jiu-jitsu, and extending the arm like that is asking for trouble. According to Kape, that single mistake cost Pantoja both the fight and the belt. Kamaru Usman fully backed that assessment. In a recent clip, the former welterweight champion explained that while the sequence happened in a split second, it was still an error. Pantoja threw the kick, Joshua Van lifted the leg, and in the scramble, Pantoja instinctively posted his arm. As Usman pointed out, fighters are taught not to do that. You roll with the fall, not brace it. That small decision, made in the heat of the moment, ended an entire title reign. Usman also touched on something even more brutal: how fast the world moved on. He acknowledged Pantoja's desire to get back immediately, explaining that when you have been a defending champion for so long, that identity becomes who you are. You want to return as soon as possible. But, as Usman and Henry discussed, the division did not wait. The conversation instantly shifted to names like Manel Kape, Joshua Van, and Tatsuro Taira. Almost no one is talking about how the champion lost the title anymore. That is just how this sport works, and it shows how ruthless the fight game truly is. Moving on to another news. Colby Covington has once again taken aim at Bo Nickal, continuing a war of words that erupted after Nickal withdrew from a scheduled wrestling match against Yoel Romero. The situation sparked immediate backlash across the MMA community after Romero reportedly came in 7 pounds over the agreed limit, prompting Nickal to pull out rather than compete. That decision did not sit well with Covington, who unloaded on Nickal during a recent appearance on Submission Radio. Covington did not hold back, labeling Nickal a quitter and accusing him of lacking toughness. He argued that refusing to wrestle someone who missed weight by a few pounds, especially a fighter nearly 2 decades older, was unacceptable. In Covington's view, Romero's age should have made the matchup even more appealing, not something to fear. He claimed Nickal should have been eager to compete, especially when representing the real American freestyle brand, which prides itself on toughness and entertainment. According to Covington, Nickal often talks about being ready at all times and wanting to be a company man, but his actions do not line up with those words. He pointed out that this was not the first time Nickal pulled out of a wrestling match with Romero on the same platform, calling it embarrassing and damaging to the promotion. Covington said that backing out twice only reinforced the idea that Nickal folds when adversity shows up. Covington then shifted the focus to Nickal's MMA career, bringing up his loss to RDR. He sarcastically apologized for previously mislabeling RDR, admitting he did not realize there was such a thing as Dutch grappling. He mocked the idea before emphasizing that RDR, a Dutch grappler, exposed Nickal and forced him to quit in the striking exchanges. For Covington, that moment was proof that Nickal crumbles when he faces resistance. The criticism did not stop there. Covington went on to question Nickal's drawing power, claiming he has no ability to attract fans or generate interest. He suggested Nickal is irrelevant in the bigger picture of combat sports and lacks the personality needed to sell fights or events. In his eyes, the hype around Nickal far outweighs what he has actually delivered so far. As expected, Covington's comments were loud, harsh, and deliberately provocative. Whether fans agree or not, his rant has added fuel to the growing conversation around Nickal's decision to withdraw and how that moment may shape public perception of his toughness and reliability moving forward. Moving on to another news. Former UFC veteran Matt Brown has raised concerns about Ilia and whether his current personal situation could impact his performances inside the cage. Over the past couple of years, Ilia has been one of the most talked about fighters in the sport, tearing through legendary featherweights like Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway before moving up to lightweight and doing the same to Charles Oliveira. Becoming a 2-division champion may not be as rare as it once was, but Ilia's destructive style and global popularity quickly turned him into the UFC's biggest star. As the 2026 UFC calendar begins to take shape, the lightweight division is moving forward without him. Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett are preparing to fight for an interim title, while Ilia remains on the sidelines with no clear timeline for his return. The reason is a messy and very public divorce, which also includes a difficult custody battle. That situation has created a cloud of uncertainty around the reigning champion. Matt Brown understands that struggle better than most. He has openly spoken about nearly retiring during his own divorce, and that experience shapes his view on what Ilia might be facing. Brown believes there is a real chance Ilia could return too soon and pay the price for it inside the octagon. He explained that fighters hate sitting out. They hate watching events from the sidelines, especially when they are healthy enough to compete. That pressure alone can push someone back before they are mentally ready. Brown pointed out that while Ilia is physically healthy, mental stress is a different beast. Divorce, custody issues, and constant media attention can all weigh heavily on a fighter. Even if Ilia says the right things publicly and keeps his composure, those problems do not simply disappear when the cage door closes. Brown emphasized that fighters deal with personal issues all the time, but when you are facing hungry contenders at the elite level, your head has to be completely clear. Another key factor Brown mentioned is the physical toll that mental stress can create. Poor sleep, elevated cortisol levels, and constant anxiety can slowly chip away at recovery and performance. These are tiny changes that often go unnoticed day to day, but over time, they add up. One less hour of sleep, one stressful phone call, or one bad night can slightly lower performance, and at the highest level, those inches and centimeters matter. Despite all of this, Brown still believes Ilia is talented enough to come back and continue ruling the lightweight division. He made it clear that he is not counting Ilia out or doubting his skill. However, there are no guarantees in this sport, especially when personal life spills into professional preparation. That is why Brown hopes Ilia takes the time he needs before booking his return. Ilia's ability has never been questioned, and Brown even said he does not really see him losing to Gethje or Paddy under normal circumstances. But if his training is disrupted and his mindset is not right, anything can happen. In MMA, even the smallest crack can change everything, and that is what makes this moment so critical for Ilia's future. Moving on to another news. During the same interview, Colby Covington also revealed that he is seriously considering a move up to middleweight, and he already has a few big names in mind. Covington made it clear that he is looking for fights that bring attention, history, and hype, rather than just any matchup. One name that immediately stood out to him was Ciryl Adesanya. Covington explained that Adesanya intrigues him because of what he represents: a former champion, a global star, and someone with a massive platform and brand, much like Covington sees himself. He said the Adesanya fight makes far more sense than most other options on the table, especially from a business perspective. According to Covington, the matchup sells itself. He also added that he does not particularly like Adesanya, pointing out that Adesanya has spoken about him in the past. For Covington, that personal tension only adds fuel, and he wants to see if Adesanya can actually back up his words inside the cage. But Covington did not stop with a middleweight call-out. He also took aim at Khamzat, bringing up their long-discussed matchup from years ago. Covington reminded everyone that the fight was once in talks at welterweight and said it is still a fight he would gladly take. In his view, stylistically, it is a great matchup for him. Covington dismissed the idea that Khamzat could simply take him down and control him. He pointed to his collegiate wrestling background, explaining that he knows how to fight the hands, dig for underhooks, and get back to his feet. He insisted that Khamzat would not be able to hold him down the way he did against Duplessis, and that the fight would quickly turn into a striking battle. That is where Covington believes the advantage shifts heavily in his favor. He claimed Khamzat does not enjoy striking exchanges and is uncomfortable getting hit in the face. According to Covington, Khamzat prefers to dominate on the ground and avoid prolonged stand-up fights. He said that once the fight becomes a striking contest, everything changes. Covington wrapped up by saying he loves the Khamzat fight and believes it is one of the most exciting options available to him. Between a move to middleweight and potential clashes with Adesanya or Khamzat, Covington made it clear that he is aiming for high-profile, high-stakes matchups as the next chapter of his career begins. Moving on to another news, Bo Nickal has made it clear that his disdain for Colby Covington is very real, and he is openly calling for a fight to settle things once and for all. Nickal recently appeared on the Ariel Helwani show, where he unloaded on the former interim UFC champion, labeling him a fraud and claiming he wants to end Covington's career inside the octagon. Nickal said he would love for the fight to happen in the UFC as soon as June. According to him, it would not be competitive. He believes he could absolutely rip Covington apart, send him packing, and finish his career in dominant fashion. Nickal added that he does not think Covington would ever agree to wrestle him. But when it comes to an MMA fight, he believes the UFC may force the matchup. In his view, the promotion is not particularly happy with Covington right now, which increases the chances of the fight being made. Nickal did not stop there. He said he plans to personally push for the fight, explaining that he sees Covington as fake and phony. He accused Covington of pretending to support President Trump only to antagonize people and generate attention, rather than out of genuine belief. Nickal claimed that Covington uses controversy as a tool because that is all he has left. He also took shots at Covington's athletic background, saying he could not hack it in wrestling and was lucky to transition into MMA at a time when many fighters did not have strong wrestling skills. According to Nickal, that timing allowed Covington to succeed early, but those days are long gone. He pointed out that Covington has not won anything meaningful in years, and suggested his career has been stagnant for nearly 7 years. Nickal went as far as saying he does not believe Covington would make it out of the first round against him. Nickal also addressed the backlash he received after withdrawing from his scheduled wrestling match against Yoel Romero. He explained that he was willing to accept the fight if Romero had missed weight by 2 or 3 pounds. However, 7 pounds was simply too much. Nickal said many of the people criticizing him have never competed at a high level and do not understand the situation. He revealed that his peers in the wrestling world were actually shocked he even considered taking the match. Nickal said once Romero delayed stepping on the scale, he suspected something was wrong. He expected a small miss, but when Romero weighed in at 212, it immediately raised red flags. After discussing the situation with his coaches and team, they collectively decided it was best to walk away. Nickal emphasized that he always wants to compete, but he also has to make smart decisions. For him, withdrawing was not about fear, but about fairness and professionalism. Even so, the controversy has only added fuel to his growing feud with Covington, and if Nickal gets his way, that tension may soon explode inside the UFC cage.